Yo, what's up, everybody? Today on Wednesday, the 11th, Season 4 of Rocket League drops. This is going to be a two-part video. In part one, we're going to be talking about the things that we know about and everything else, because obviously I'm recording this beforehand. Talking about some of the things, showcasing some things, and then eventually, when the stuff actually comes out, I will do a part two with a follow-up of the tournament rewards and everything else that comes along with the actual update. Try to find some small nuances, Easter eggs, all that kind of fun stuff. So, with that said, let's take a look at what we know about Season 4. How's it going, everybody? Lawler here, your inside source for all things Rocket League. Going to be talking and taking a look at Rocket League Season 4. We've got some things that aren't technically announced to the public or shown to the public, but people have found, whether it be on Reddit or through various scopes on Twitter, as well as some other things like the first look at the new car, the Outlaw, and a bunch of other things. And these are all going to be out, I think, officially when this video actually drops, but I'm trying to do stuff ahead of time, so hopefully this is more so for those that haven't gotten the chance to like sit down and play yet, whether you're busy at work or otherwise. This will give you kind of a general preview of some of the stuff, and then I'll end up doing a full-length preview, or I guess showing, of the season rewards and what the new systems and features look like, and the tournament rewards and all that kind of stuff. So with that said, we're gonna jump straight into the blog post in which Rocket League's Max Parker ended up putting out, saying gallop into Rocket League Season 4 on August 11th. Couple things they detail right off the back. Number one is going to be Dead Eye Canyon, which you can see in the trailer video. You've probably seen it loop here over and over and over again. The actual map is under the sand a little bit, so I don't know what that's going to do for like visual representation, or if you can even see that stuff. And then the other thing you can see poking on the left hand side is the new car, the Outlaw, which I assume is the most upgraded variant of it. Obviously, every new season or season 4 has a theme to it. This one is going to be Western themed, hence all of the like references to galloping and rootness, tootness, and a bunch of other things that are super yeehaw Southern kind of stuff and the Western stuff. So Deadeye Canyon is the first thing. The second thing, like I said, is the Outlaw vehicle. It looks like the Twinzer and the Octane had a baby. And if you guys haven't seen it, well, here's a graphic of it. This ended up actually being on one of the banners, I think, in Coliseum, in one of those, before it was hot fixed very quickly and then removed. So if you didn't get a chance to actually see it, it was in there for a tiny bit. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it is no longer in any of the maps that I could find when I was looking. So this is what it looks like. It's a very aggressive. I assume it's going to be another Octane hitbox. I don't know. I'll probably be doing a follow-up video on the Dingo and seeing if people think it's a viable option for the pro scene. So that's coming up. Make sure, if you guys don't want to miss out on that stuff, hit subscribe, notifications, all that fun stuff. But yeah, the Outlaw looks interesting. I don't know if it's going to be like the DB5 that just got released. That's like an Octane hitbox, but it's like super low to the ground, or how it's going to play. So we'll have to do a follow-up on that in the future. But taking a look at the actual blog post, they settle up for Season 4. Says it comes out at August 11th at 8 a.m. Pacific time, so bright and early. The actual update will end up happening the day before, so technically yesterday your computer or console or whatever system you're using should have already downloaded and got your copy of Rocket League ready to go. That happened yesterday. But the actual update and the ending of the season stuff I'll detail here in just a second. So we have a new Rocket Pass as always, and the graphic that is showing for you guys shows obviously some of that information. With the way that the car looks, they have kind of the aesthetic or the theme, which I said is going to be Western. The new car, the Outlaw, which you guys saw previously, they didn't showcase actually in this blog post, and I was able to get it, obviously, like I mentioned, from the in-game stuff, but you're going to be able to probably see some footage of this very early on when this video comes out. Rocket Pass Premium, if you guys do want to purchase it, it's always 1,000 credits or $10. My recommendation is, if you have not done this before, spend the money on it and then make sure you play Rocket League to where you can actually get to level 100 in the Rocket Pass, because you will get 1,000 credits back in some capacity. So once you pay for the first Rocket Pass, you can pay for all the future ones as well. They talk about there's the No Name Topper, which is like the Sheriff Badge one, Tanker Wheels, which you don't really get a good look at. You do on some of the other previews, and that video at the very beginning, you do get a look of it. A Miko decal, and Lava Boost. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more than that in different variants and special variants of some of these. Hopefully, they turn out well. Also, there's a couple quality of life things, some good, some bad in the wide spectrum of stuff, depending on where you sit on the side of the fence. But there's a couple things that I really enjoy. The first thing that we already knew about is the fact that they are expanding competitive tournaments. The way that it is going to work is obviously there's 3v3 in-game tournaments with tournament rewards. There will be a fresh set of tournament rewards, which I'll cover in part 2. But the tournaments are now 3v3, 2v2, and extra modes. And by extra modes, I mean, yes, all of them. And it's not just Rumble, it's Rumble, Snow Day, Hoops, you name it. The way that it's going to work is these will rotate and change on a day-to-day basis from the sounds of this. If you are not sure what it is, and I think that's kind of the cool thing is, I don't know if they'll have a set schedule. I'll see if there is a trend where it's like every Monday is this, every Tuesday is this, or if they just rotate the 4 and then just keep cycling through. But it does look like it is going to be a daily reset for what the new mode is. So Monday maybe Rumble, Tuesday maybe Snow Day, Wednesday could possibly be Drop Shot or whatever it may be. These tournaments, depending on how the game mode is going to be really interesting. Now the coolest thing is I think the 2v2 tournaments are something I'm going to be playing in relatively heavily. They do also announce that there's going to be some limited time modes coming up. It's going to start immediately on August 12th with Heatseeker 2v2. On August 19th, a week later, will be Speed Demon, which is basically boomer mode without the ball going all crazy. The ball will move really, really fast, but a majority of the stuff will still be pretty readable. It'll be interesting to see on how that one actually works, because if the ball's going to go flying and then hit the surface like normal, I'm not sure on how that one's going to work. Either way, something that we'll have to test out. A week after that is going to be then one called Spring Loaded, which is a actual Rumble variant that you can play right now. If you guys go into your private match creations under custom games, you can actually set a preset for Rumble items as Spring Loaded, which is like the boot to kick people, the haymaker punch, things that use a spring. Spring Loaded makes sense. As for new features and changes, these are good and bad depending on the way you look at it. The first thing, which is a quality of life thing, is streamer safe music feature. So for those that do stream or do content, they have to worry about DMCA laws with everything changing, and the ability to just toggle that on so certain songs that are not DMCA free are okay. I can tell you right now that if you do like the Monster Cat music in game, you can buy a $5 gold Monster Cat membership, and it allows you to use all the Monster Cat music in content, whether it be videos or otherwise, and not get hit with a DMCA claim. It's the same stuff that I use for the Brawl. The other one that's being talked about pretty widely is the undersized party rank restrictions, which I'm kind of weirded out by that they're only doing it for 3v3. So if I'm reading this correctly, and I'm going to keep butchering this because this is probably like my 10th take of saying this, but if I'm saying this correctly in the way that I understand it, if you're Diamond 1, Div 1, you can queue someone who is Champ 1, Div 4. Like, that's a pretty big spread in skill, and it's a little bit concerning, I guess. The other thing, too, is this only applies, and the reason why it applies is if you are two people playing together. So if you take that Diamond 1 player and that Champ 1 player and you put them in a group together, then it's supposed to have a teammate that's solo queuing basically be the middle of that. So they're surrounded by somewhat of an average of their player skills. So they're not queuing into a game where, like, it's a Grand Champ, a Silver 2, and then they're like Platinum or Diamond, and they're like, why the hell am I here? What the heck is going on? It's trying to fix some of that stuff. It's supposed to give you like a decent range, so at least you're in the middle of those two in some capacity. How heavily that's going to skew to the lower side or the higher side, I don't know, but obviously there's only so many options when you're queuing and stuff. This will only apply towards 3v3 competitive ranked and 3v3 tournaments. So if you ever queue as 2, that's when this applies. So if you queue for 2 in a 3v3 and then you got one rando on the side, that's when this stuff is applying. It doesn't apply to 2v2s, doesn't apply to other stuff, doesn't apply to casuals. It only applies to 3v3 competitive ranked and 3v3 tournaments, the ones that are sponsored by Psyonix, where you can earn tournament rewards. This does not apply if you have a full 3s based team. If I queue with a full party 3, then this doesn't matter. If I queue with 2 professional players, then I'm still going to be playing at the professional player lobby. The difficulty, though, is if those 2 professional players are on Smurf accounts, then none of this matters and the Smurfing still continues. It's more so if people are trying to boost their one friend in 3v3, it's going to try to prevent that. And that's where I guess my issue kind of is with it, is although Smurfing is something that's never going to really go away, they can implement things to make it a bit more difficult. The problem I have is a lot of times in 2v2s is where the Smurfing happens. You get one player who is on a Platinum or a Diamond account, and then they play with someone who is trying to climb the ranks into Grand Champ or higher, and they're getting boosted and smurfed their way up. And this system doesn't apply to them in any way. So kind of weird how this is all really being implemented, but it does state in specifics, it does not affect parties of 2 attempting to queue in 2v2 casual playlists or any extra mode playlists. So again, 2v2s where I noticed the most people getting boosted or carried in something is still unaffected. So it should be interesting to see on how it plays out, or if they're going to make any changes or if they're going to tweak certain things, because that is most likely something that is going to have to happen in the next thing I'm talking about, which is having to do with casual matches. As of right now, casual matches are casual. You can just hop in, hop out, whatever it may be. If you're getting freestyled on or whatever it is, you don't like it, you just leave, no penalty. And yes, your teammate gets a bot, but at least you can leave and do what you want. It's casual. It's meant to be in a circumstance of, if I'm a person that's like, yo, I've got to go get dinner with some friends, I've got 10 minutes. Oh, just kidding, they're ready now. I can just hop out. We're good to go. That is no longer the case. Now it states that they're trying to improve that experience. And after the update, they're adding the ability to forfeit casual matches just like competitive matches. Whether you can do that right away or if you have to wait a minute and a half to 3:30, I assume that'll be in line. I assume they're going to take the rule set for competitive and apply it just to casual. So if it is 3:30 minutes or less, you have the ability then to forfeit the match, and then it ends, and then you can leave the server. The reason why that's important is if you do leave early, you do get a matchmaking ban. The first one is a freebie, and if you do it every once in a while, you'll be fine. But if you are constantly leaving casual matches, you're going to get a matchmaking ban for a time limit that increases the more you do it, which is kind of interesting. The whole point I thought of casual is to allow people to leave. There's a lot of people that are actually really upset about this in the freestyling community, because freestylers, with the way that they submit their clips and stuff like that, it's not allowed to be done in training or against bots. It doesn't count, I guess, in their community. They purposely will tank their MMR lower and lower and lower. So they'll join a match, leave, and purposely lose MMR. So when they go in freestyle, they get more space and they're playing against players, but basically bots. Really, really bad people, which is to be expected because Rocket League is not an easy game when you first pick it up. So a lot of freestylers are really upset about it, but at the end of the day, like, if you're purposely tanking your MMR, that's against terms of service anyway, and you just admitted to breaking the terms of service, which is a bannable offense. So, like, I don't really feel bad for that situation whatsoever. I will say, though, that the whole purpose of casual has me kind of conflicted. I'm kind of back and forth on it, because if I want to be able to leave a match because of other things or whatever it may be, or maybe you get someone that's petty that's just like, hey, we're losing. Well, I don't want to forfeit. I want to whatever. I'm really hoping that the mentality of knowing that, hey, there's literally no benefit or gain to this. It is a casual match. There's no points on the line. The mentality situation doesn't get in the way, and people do tend to just relax a little bit. Again, you just never know. There's always going to be outliers to that and certain anomalies to the circumstance where certain people do stupid things because people suck. But hopefully that is not the case with this. I assume the improvements to casual matches is going to take some tweaking and some adjustments, but at the end of the day, we'll just kind of have to wait and see how things play out. Again, as a reminder, the update will be downloaded on your system on August 10th, which is yesterday, but the actual update is today, the 11th, which will be coming out shortly after Season 3 ends. Season 3 will end at 7:30 a.m. Pacific, so if you're grinding those rank rewards, get to it. You've got no time now because we're past that date. And then at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, the update is live. You'll get your competitive rewards. Everything gets distributed. And then you have the ability to go grind your Rocket Pass and try to get a new Grand Champ or whatever rewards you're aiming for. Another reason for me to start playing the game again. That is going to do it for our early look and first look at Rocket League Season 4 and the Rocket Pass and everything else. If you guys want to make sure that you don't miss out on the second part of this video, where it's going to be the actual specifics of in-game items and all that kind of stuff, and showcasing those items and the new features and all that kind of stuff, make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content, hit subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss out on the notification when that next one hits, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.